What happens when a strike targets one of the most sensitive economic lifelines of a country? Reports are emerging that Israel has carried out strikes connected to oil infrastructure near Tehran, raising serious questions about where the escalating tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States might be heading. But here's the bigger question. Was this strike meant as a warning? Or could it trigger a much wider confrontation? And if tensions continue rising, how might Iran respond? Tonight we're going to break down the facts, the strategy behind these actions, and what could happen next. In our previous videos, we discussed how tensions across the Middle East have been steadily increasing. From military signaling to strategic warnings, several events have been pushing the region closer to a dangerous tipping point. Now, the latest reports about strikes connected to Iranian oil facilities have added another layer of uncertainty. Oil infrastructure is not just about energy production. For countries like Iran, it represents one of the most critical pillars of the national economy. Targeting such facilities sends a powerful geopolitical signal. But to understand why this matters so much, we first need to examine the broader relationship between Iran and Israel. For decades, Iran and Israel have been involved in what many analysts describe as a shadow conflict. Instead of direct war, the confrontation has often played out through intelligence operations, cyber activities, regional proxy conflicts, and occasional limited military actions. Each side tries to weaken the other without triggering a full-scale war. But over the past few years, the intensity of this rivalry has increased significantly. Israel has repeatedly warned that it will act to prevent threats to its national security. Iran, meanwhile, has expanded its regional influence and military capabilities. This has created an environment where even limited actions can carry global consequences. And that brings us back to the latest reports. Why would oil facilities become a target in geopolitical tensions? The answer lies in economic pressure. Oil exports have historically been one of Iran's most important sources of revenue. Facilities connected to storage, refining, and distribution play a crucial role in keeping that system running. When such infrastructure is threatened, the impact goes far beyond physical damage. It affects economic stability, global energy markets, and regional political calculations. Even rumors or limited incidents involving oil depots can influence global oil prices. That's why energy infrastructure is often considered strategic infrastructure. But the question remains, what message might Israel be trying to send? In geopolitics, actions are often designed to send messages. Military strikes are rarely just about physical impact. They can also be about signaling capability and intent. Some analysts believe actions like these are meant to demonstrate that certain locations remain vulnerable. Others suggest they are meant to deter future attacks. In other words, the goal may not be escalation but deterrence. Deterrence means convincing an opponent that further aggression would come with unacceptable costs. But strategic signaling can be risky, because the other side may interpret the message differently. Whenever incidents like this occur, attention quickly shifts to the response. Iran's leadership under Ali Khamenei has often emphasized the importance of maintaining strategic deterrence. In the past, Iran's responses have taken different forms, sometimes diplomatic, sometimes economic, and sometimes military signaling of its own. However, Iranian leaders also understand that a direct large-scale conflict would carry enormous risks. That means their response will likely involve careful calculation. The challenge is balancing strength with restraint. On the Israeli side, leadership under Benjamin Netanyahu has repeatedly emphasized that Israel will take action when it perceives threats to its national security. Israel's strategy often focuses on preventing adversaries from gaining strategic advantages. That includes monitoring missile programs, regional alliances, and military infrastructure. However, Israeli leaders are also aware of the risks involved in escalation. Every action can trigger reactions, and reactions can sometimes spiral into broader confrontations. That's why strategic decisions in this region are rarely simple. No discussion of Iran-Israel tensions is complete without mentioning the United States. The United States remains one of Israel's closest allies and maintains a significant military presence across the Middle East. At the same time, Washington generally prefers to avoid direct military conflict with Iran. Instead, U.S. policy has often focused on diplomacy, economic sanctions, and regional partnerships. But if tensions between Iran and Israel escalate further, the United States could face difficult strategic decisions. And that possibility is something global analysts are watching closely. Events in the Middle East rarely stay confined to the region. Oil markets respond quickly to instability, global shipping routes can be affected, and political alliances often shift when tensions rise. Even countries far from the region pay close attention to developments involving Iran's energy infrastructure, because the consequences could extend into global economic stability. This is why international diplomats often work quietly behind the scenes during moments like these. Their goal is simple: prevent escalation before it becomes uncontrollable. So what should we watch for next? 3 key signals may reveal where the situation is heading. First, Iran's official response. Second, Israel's military posture in the coming days. And third, diplomatic reactions from major global powers. Crises often move through phases: tension, response, negotiation, and sometimes de-escalation. Which phase we enter next could shape the future of this confrontation. Right now, the situation remains fluid, and new developments could emerge at any time. But the big question remains: was this strike meant to send a strategic warning, or could it lead to a deeper escalation between Iran and Israel? Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think tensions in the region will calm down through diplomacy, or could this situation escalate further? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective is always welcome, and respectful discussion helps everyone understand these complex issues better. And if you want more in-depth analysis of global events like this, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for our next update.